Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Four Dads Podcast with your host Don Julio and myself, Teeds. Hopefully, you guys had a good week. Now that it will be Thursday when this episode is dropping, but get things kicked off. I know the goat in women's basketball right now. I feel like maybe not the goat, but one of the best up and coming players in a long time that you've seen. Caitlin Clark pulled a schoolboy Q and shanked it into the crowd. I had a bunch of people sending me the clip just of her shanking it. I mean, she honestly has a decent swing, but man, that was hilarious. I couldn't believe it.
I saw that too. I just love I love her ability to be honest. Like she was just like it was nerve wracking.
Heck
Sorry,
yeah.
but I love how she pulls the ball out of her pocket like she's done it before. Like, yep,
Right?
sorry, messed up.
Like
Mulligan.
a tennis player, that just has an extra ball in their
Yeah,
pocket. She's just like, yep,
exactly,
right here, ready to go. I knew it was gonna happen. Like,
exactly.
and it was so close. There was another angle from the back where it literally was like looked like it was coming right at him. And I was surprised it didn't hit anybody. Like,
It was close.
oh man, that was crazy. But yeah, that was pretty funny because she's human. But it's
Mhm.
also really cool. I like seeing athletes playing other sports for fun, and that golf is definitely one of those ones that you could play, and it's usually not really in contracts, except for I think one of the contracts. Who is it? Jalen Hurts. He's not allowed to play golf for whatever reason, and I think it might
Really?
be, yeah. Apparently, in his contract, he's not allowed to play golf. The quarterback for the Eagles, but he, I assume, might have to do something with his knees. I don't know if he's had any issues in the past, but golf on your load knee, like it has a lot of pressure on your knee uh, over time, of course. But I don't know. Maybe he played too much, or I don't know. There's obviously a reason for it. When you're like a million, like
They
multi-million-dollar asset, like
they should have put something in freaking Kyler Murray's contract saying no Call of Duty if you're going to
dude,
be
that's what.
staying up.
Well, that was the big thing, dude. When he signed that big contract, remember when it came out? They said like he has to have like a minimum of like 10 hours a week or something, like studying film, and that was strictly about that. Apparently, I'm not even kidding. Like,
That's crazy,
and
dude.
like people were coming out saying like, oh, if you notice, every time there's a double XP weekend for Call of Duty, look at Kyler Murray stats. Just look at them. Don't even talk. Just look at those weekends, and like you can look them up and see, and it's like, dude, his stats deplete, and it's like insane. And you're like, oh my gosh, dude, it's XP, dude. Like it's XP in a video game. Like one thing I hate about Call of Duty that I feel like has ruined a lot of games is it's all about how much you play. It's not how good you are that puts you up at the higher levels. Obviously, you want to play more, but like it's not based off of skill anymore. It's based off of, oh, you played a lot. Oh, you're gonna move up no matter how bad you do.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty crazy when I heard about that with Jalen Hurts. But I know like maybe 20 years ago, David Cohn, he was a pitcher for the Yankees. Apparently, in his contract, he wasn't allowed to play basketball. Yet he played pickup with one of his buddies, and he dislocated his knee. That didn't go over well.
That would be all right. For those who are watching, I want you guys to just drop it in the comments. What's one of the craziest red lines in a contract, or one of the craziest, I guess, demands in a contract by an organization for a player? Like I would love to go down this rabbit hole and find out what what people couldn't do during their contracts of playing. Like
mhm.
I wonder if there's any I wonder if there was anything particular that Derek Jeter couldn't do, or Alex Rodriguez,
Dude, well,
Mark Teixeira.
I know what's his name? Kellen Winslow for the Browns. He wasn't allowed to ride a motorcycle, and he got in like this crazy crash and with a motorcycle. And it was like it's kind of like one of those things where like I feel like a lot of them kind of make sense if you know the situation, but if you might hear them out of the blue, like I don't know, like with Jalen Hurts and the whole golf thing, I don't know like what the main reason is, but my only thing I can think of is it does play a toll on your knees. But I mean, Jordan played freaking 36 holes in a day and then went like 40, 50 that night. Like obviously people can do it, but I don't know anything. I haven't really heard of any other ones besides that. But yeah, I thought that was kind of crazy. What are you reading? You got any? You got any crazy ones? I assume you're
Yeah, I
looking them
see
up right
one.
now.
Yeah, there's one for Rolly Fingers mustache bonus. So Rolly Finger's mustache has become just as famous as the pitcher. The 1972 Oakland A's owner Charlie Finley created a gimmick in which his players could earn a bonus if they grew a mustache by Father's Day. Fingers decided to participate and grew out his mustache and grew out his well-known handlebar mustache, completed with curls at the end, and was rewarded $300.
Hmm.
The following season also included another $100 allowance for buying mustache wax.
Interesting.
Um, there's some good ones in here. I mean,
Well, yeah, go
somebody
for it.
somebody had one where they were not allowed to go to space ban travel for a
Gosh,
Swedish
dude, could you
soccer player,
imagine?
Stefan Schwartz
He
signed
must have
a
been like obsessed with NASA and just been like, yeah, dude, once I finally get this paycheck, I'm gonna go to space. And someone's like, yeah, I heard about that. Not today, buddy.
Roy Oswalt,
Yeah, Roy
the
Oswald.
pitcher for the Astros,
Hmm.
a bulldozer bonus. Delivered
Hmm.
a pitch, 7 innings, healthy. Uh, McLean delivered in December of the year. Gifted Oswald a $200,000 tractor that had been that had to be disclosed by the major league as a contracted incentive. Oswald had or Oswald
Oswald, yeah.
Oswald already had plans for the machinery back on his property in Mississippi. Uh, Never had any extra motivation to to do anything else with the tractor. Doesn't specify exactly what, but
Dude,
yeah.
I do
George
actually.
Brett, landlord.
Landlord.
Says
Oh.
for one, he had to negotiate ownership of the bat, Pine Tar.
Mm.
Uh, the perks came through the Royals team co-captain, successful estate developer. The Royals decided to use this to their advantage and offered Brett a 10% stake in the 1,100 unit development. He took a deal and was guaranteed $1 million in cash flow, and the chance to sell his piece back to the Royals for $2 million. That's an interesting one.
That is. That's wild. I know. I actually just thought of one right now. Kurt Benkert, one of the guys I follow on YouTube. He played football. He's a big YouTuber now, but he literally was just like a third string QB for like 5 years. And that's like his claim to fame. It's like I got to learn behind like Aaron Rodgers. I got to learn behind like Brock Purdy, and I forget who the other team that he played for. But he never really started. But he took all of his knowledge and he's turned it into YouTube with Madden and like teaching you how to play as a quarterback would, like, but in
Hmm.
Madden. And he breaks it down super easily. But he said one of his perks was like a play bonus, so per play bonus, because he
Who
rarely
was
got
that again?
in. Kurt Benkert, so Benkert, Benkert, something like
Mm-hmm.
Benkert. But he had like a per play bonus where he got like 15,000 per play that he made it on the field, like an actual game, not a preseason game. And he said one time I think it was with Green Bay, and he's like, I got to kneel down the last three plays of the game, and I got like a $45,000 bonus or something like that, just because I was in for 3 plays and I literally just kneeled for 3 times. But I was like, oh, that's kind of wild. But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
right.
I just came across a good one. Carlos
Okay.
Beltran
Ooh,
could not be overstimulated in training because of his contract for 7 years, $120 million contract with the New York Mets in 2005. Because Beltran was such an asset to the team, they decided not to let him do anything strenuous um, within the workout room. He was limited to only band workouts and ellipticals.
what?
That's all he could use. So everything he had to do had to be through resistant band work, and he was only allowed to work out on an elliptical for cardio or run.
Dang, that's
Sorry,
wild.
hold on. Let me monitored running by trainer to make sure he didn't tweak his knees or ankles.
Yeah, you see him running, and the trainer's like, gotta be
Well,
careful.
dude, isn't that
Right?
crazy? Because wasn't it him and wasn't it him and somebody else who had like one of the nastiest collisions in baseball?
I don't recall honestly.
No, I'm trying to think. There was one. I think it was like a playoff, and they both just ran, and you just see their heads just smack.
Mm,
But
ugh. But
that's a crazy one.
yeah, that is nuts, dude. That is insane. Like especially for working out and only him and such an asset, you want him to be in the best shape ever, but like only band work. That's interesting because you would think someone of that caliber would other people would catch on and do the similar stuff, right? If he's making
Yeah,
so much money, right? And it didn't. It definitely has never caught on. Like only band work. That's wild. Hmm. All right.
Neymar, friends and
Neymar.
family fly free.
Okay.
Pretty much explains
Yeah.
itself. But basically, wherever he went, he would fly private, and
Hmm.
his friends and family would fly free with him on
Would.
the on the team's dime.
Oh, dang. I know Michael Vick did the same thing. Now that you mentioned it, he had the same thing. He could fly directly to his hometown whenever he wanted.
He had his
Um,
dogs.
and his dogs, exactly. Yep, yep. Save that for another day. But now back to golf. Plantation course, you said in Hawaii. Probably had some decent weather out there. It's starting to get really chilly out here. Uh, what was the winning score again? 29 under.
29
Christian
under
Kirk,
Christian
29
Kirk.
under. That's an average of over 7 under a round. An
Yep.
average. Like imagine just like being like on like you make the cut, you shoot like 12 under, or like no, that's not happening. Then shoot like 10 under. You're like, oh dude, I just absolutely I was locked in. And then like you're like tied for like the best round with like four other guys. It's like uh
Well, I mean, historically, I know that there's always been low scores at the plantation.
and that's the one
Um,
that's really far, like it's really a lot of distance, right? I know there's a lot of
yeah,
undulation as well, but like
yeah.
it's very a big distance. Like the whole thing about distancing golf courses to lower scores doesn't really apply.
Well, I mean, for that one, the course is designed primarily for downwind play, and everything is slanted.
Oh,
So it's like when you hit these
yeah,
shots,
okay.
not only is your ball carrying a country mile, but then like it's a downhill lie. So then it just rolls out towards the ocean and goes for forever. They said that the longest drive of the weekend was 475 yards.
Dude, that's gotta be a good feeling. Imagine you're just like, okay, I just got back into working out, and then you just smash the drive, and you're like, was that me? Or
Was
was that the plantation? Like, hold on,
yeah.
like, was that me trying to build the ego, boost the ego up a bit? Like that's crazy. But is it like but you can't have like a course that's all downhill or it's all downwind, you're saying?
It's just primarily all downwind. It's just the way that the course is angled. Apparently, it plays. The wind is there to help you. Yeah, it was hit by Max Homa.
Oh wow.
Four,
Did you
sorry, 477 yards.
dang, speaking of Max Homa, did you hear him chime in on should hitting out or moving your ball out of a divot in the fairway like be a rule change?
I didn't, but
No, you didn't.
I'm 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 eager to hear what he said.
All right, let me see. Let's see. Did someone send it to me? So it was like a tweet, and it was like, should we, you know,
Should
change
we
that
stay
rule?
or should I go?
Yeah, right. Classic. And he's like, no, definitely not. Golf is a hard game. I get it. It says something along the lines of like, if you're playing with buddies, there's no money on the line, move your ball. There's no reason not to move your ball. Like it's a hard game already. Like, and you're not a pro, you're not playing professionally. Like, there's no reason not to move your ball at all. Do it because it's hard. But he's like, that's just part of the game.
Well, that's even like having mud on your ball,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Like, so this weekend, I had a two-man scramble tournament, and I hit a monster drive on number 11, middle of the fairway. I find the one spot of water
Mm,
that my ball decides to land in, right?
mm.
And it's out, but there's this massive chunk of mud on it. Can't do anything about it. It's just, it's marked as a ground under repair, right? But the ball is outside of the line, so I still have to play it. Dude, I had like 69 yards in. I hit my 58 degree. The ball goes up and it just comes straight down. I had never seen that before. Never seen it. And I asked
What?
everybody, I asked the other team that we were playing with, like, was there anything mentioned about winter rules? Right? Like, can I wipe it? Can I clean it? They're like, wasn't said anything. So then, you know, what I did was I played it, and then we talked, we talked to the I guess the men's club, director, basically
Hmm.
said, was there anything said about it? He's like, no, there wasn't. So you did the right thing. I was like, so dumb.
Dude,
So dumb.
that is. I mean, especially because there are instances where you are allowed to wipe it, right? Like
Mhm.
besides winter rules. But I mean, like, wouldn't it be like if it plugs? If it plugs and it doesn't come up, you're technically allowed to move it, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can move it.
But I take it obviously if with a drive that it didn't plug, it rolled and
Well,
rolled
I,
real
I
quick.
was kind of I was kind of shit out of luck. Like I found the one spot of water.
Hmm.
The circle was just around where the water was at. Everything else around it was dry. It was just that one spot.
Hmm.
And so my ball is in a dry spot. I'm not sitting in any water, but there's just this like this cone head of mud just sticking out on the side. And I've never experienced that. And I put a good swing on it. I hit it perfect, and literally, I kid you not, my ball just goes up and
How
then
many
just
yards did it go?
probably 30.
Oh,
Yeah, I got right up
uh,
in front, but luckily because it was a scramble, my buddy kind of was able to place his ball down nicely. Right,
wait, even with the scramble, aren't you able to just like mark your ball every shot?
we are, but I wasn't sure of how to play that because and the guy and I asked, I didn't know. I didn't want to just go and wipe it and be like, okay, cool, and then they're like, whoa, whoa, I
No,
don't
I
know.
get that. No, I get that. But if I were in that, if I were in that situation, I don't know if I
Yeah,
would have thought this way. But now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking, if I were in that situation after thinking about everything, I would feel that I'd be like, hey, since it's a scramble, talk to the other guys, the other team or whoever you're going up against or whatever. Like, hey, since it's a
let me clean my
scramble,
ball.
let me would it be cool if I clean my ball since it's a scramble? And if it happens to you guys clean your ball. Like I feel like it's an okay because it is a
Yeah,
scramble. If it
it's
was
agreed amongst the groups.
exactly. And then if not, just be like, and if at the end when you talk to the head guy or whatever, be like, oh, well, we made an executive decision. Like they're not gonna freak out on it. I feel like as long as they were
They're
agreement
all
with it.
shame, shame.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Who does he think he is? Get him
Yeah,
out of here. Get him. Oh, man, I
you
didn't want
think
to
you're
see
above
that.
the law? I
Get,
am the law.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
But I
man.
mean, my partner stuck it close, so I mean, we still walked away with the birdie. But I was just like,
Okay. Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
good.
damn, that sucked. And he was just like, he's like, I would have just wiped it. Like, fuck those guys.
Right.
I just didn't want there to be any issues coming in. I was like, look, we're already at a pretty good score. I don't want there to be any issues. We ended up shooting 10 under. The winning score was 13. I was like,
Nice.
pretty good
Dang,
with
yeah.
an eagle too. With
Oh,
a
dang.
with a stellar eagle, I should say. Dude, I hit a perfect drive. My partner hit a great shot going in. It was safe, but then I smoked a. We had 187 yards in. I smoked an 8 iron, and freaking right behind the pin, just plugged right at the back of the pin.
No
It was like
way.
it was like 3 feet down the hill, and I was like, "You roll this." I was like, "All you need to do is just breathe on it. Just breathe on it." He just goes like tap, and the thing just goes, just right in. It was perfect.
You said smoked, and I thought you were literally gonna say like something about a cigar. You said 187. I was like, no, there's no way. There's
Yeah,
just no way. Yeah, that's wild though.
I took it right over the top of the tree with a draw. It got over the cart path and just took a big bounce, and it, it was sitting
Sitting pretty.
perfect position A1.
That's
Do some
sick.
sauce. Do some sauce on it.
Ate that thing for lunch.
Yep. Yep. Just like the Browns quarterback over there. I'm tasting some W's.
Hungry. Hungry. Oh man. So let's see here. What were we're gonna talk about something else. I'm blanking right now. I got so off taken with
You
the
you uh
contracts.
you mentioned something about I don't even know, dude. But did you see that? You see Ben Stiller's back in
Yes, Hal. Yes,
Happy
Hal.
as Happy Gilmore.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Somebody got
man.
a clip of him being chased, of him
No
being
way.
chased like down the street. There was a video that was floating around. And it was like, why is Ben Stiller being chased down my street? And everyone in the
No.
comments was like, Happy Gilmore, Happy Gilmore.
No way.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
didn't
funny.
see that. I did see apparently um Golf Digest 3 days ago, they posted that what is it? They're on Instagram, they posted the most fun golf courses in the United States. And then
The
I think it's
most
like
fun or the top?
the most fun, the most fun.
Okay.
And one of I don't know if it's like a top 10 or whatever, because it's just like a post, but it has on there Monarch Dunes Golf Club in Napomo, California, which I haven't played yet. But I was like, "What? Monarch Dunes, Napomo?"
Where's Napomo?
In between Arroyo Grande and Santa Maria. So about like 20 minutes south of San Luis or so, 20, 30 minutes on
Really?
the coast. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was like, I got like two people sending me that, like, dude, check this out. I was like, no way. That's really freaking random. Um, but yeah, I mean, what do you got this week? What do we got this week? What do we got this week, golf wise? What do we got this week? PGA Tour. No updates, I don't think, on what's it called?
It's
We got
the
the
Butterfield Bermuda Championship.
Butterfield, Bermuda. Usually there's two tournaments on this week. I think last year it was they had the two uh Bryan Bros made it, and one of them got an exemption, and they both made the cut last year, which is pretty cool. Uh,
Nice.
but yeah, I mean, sounds like you've been able to get out, which has been awesome. How has your game been since you've been able to get out?
It was pretty good. I just kept having to remind myself 80%. 80%. Just get through the ball 80%. Don't try and get too aggressive. It's been conservative, but on Monday, me and TJ, we went out and played Yochadehi.
Mm,
We got rained on pretty hard. The like literally just the second hole. It was like the one big cloud just came over. We just got dumped on, dude. Like
no way.
it reminded me of rain in Florida.
Oh,
Um, After that, TJ was upset. He was like, I just can't play in this anymore. And I was like, I know, man. I was like, I just kept my mouth shut. I'm like, I feel bad. Like like the thing that pissed us off the most was like we looked at the weather. It said light showers from 10 to yeah, from like 10 to 1 o'clock, and it was not light showers. We get onto the first tee, we feel like a couple raindrops, hit good drives. Everybody in the group makes a par. Then we get to the big par five. I hit a great drive. TJ hits a great drive, and the ball, like, we just felt the wind pick up, and TJ's like, wow, that ball went
mm,
nowhere, dude. He goes out with like his 3 wood. I kid you not, he dug like probably a 5-inch hole into the ground because the club slipped. But when he did it, he tried to hold on to it, and he like messed up his pinky. So that had him mad.
wait, it's not Monday.
And
But it's not Monday,
yeah,
dude. It was crazy windy here. We're like things were like flying. Someone's like, I ended up with a free trampoline today. Thank you, wind. In my
oh,
backyard. It was wild. It felt like someone was like outside, like just moving things around. Like and it really changed. I know what you
yeah,
mean, but yeah.
yeah. We felt that wind when we got back, like or when we were going through Fairfield,
Hmm.
coming back over to Napa. Like even in like his sports car, we could feel the freaking car just going.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, dude, it's windy as hell out there. I'm like, well, I'm glad we're not playing anymore. He goes, oh. He's like, don't even get me started. I'm like, TJ, you played great. Like you still shot an 81, but it's not bad. You
Hmm.
know, he's like, I could have just done so much better, so much better. He's like, I'm like, Pete, you're fine. Like, unfortunately, the rain just sucked. Like, I was like, at least you had rain clothes. I was like, I'm over here sitting in shorts with with a sweater. I was like, I'm glad I decided to wear this jacket over the light little windbreaker that I was like, yeah, I swing better than this. And I was like, no, just wear the thick jacket. It's gonna be cold. So yeah, there was that. But I shot a nice little 78. Had a couple bogeys there. Just greens were fast. Um, the greens were fast,
Even in
even
the
even in the
winter weather.
rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like you would hit it and they just hydroplaned and it just took off once it finally grabbed. But
Yeah.
golf has been golf has been good. Um, the last two, I guess, the last two skins games that I participated in, I'm
That
two for
Eustace
two.
knows about.
Yeah, I'm
No.
two for two right now, so
Nice,
it's,
nice.
it's been good. Both on Eagles, which was nice. So just plugging away, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, my I don't know. I gotta get my GoPro checked out because I've been filming the last few rounds, but for some reason I go into the app and I go to look to like upload it, and it's only half the round. And I check the memory card, like tons of space, and I'm like, I even asked TJ. I was like, I heard the thing beeping saying that it's starting to record, right? He goes, I saw it recording. The light was blinking, and I'm like, fuck, dude. Like,
That's annoying. That's annoying.
yeah.
Ugh, I've been
So
there. I've been there. Sometimes it's like you started it on accident and then you turned it off. Like it's something weird like that. Like I've done it sometimes where like, oh,
well,
I thought I did it, and it's like, no, you
well, I
didn't.
had to make sure. So I did it every time manually or by my hand by
Right.
standing behind the camera because it was so windy. I literally
Mm.
had to like stick the legs into the ground, and so and so
Creating your own divots in the
yeah,
fairway with the
literally. So
freaking
I was like,
GoPro stand.
so I knew it was recording, but I was like, did something happen? Like, did the water somehow just say like, oh no, pause here, stop?
How are we supposed to
Like,
play with these on the fairway, Doug? The heck, man. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but
So
I do remember what we were going to talk about golf clubs, the new stuff that's coming out, and what people are saying, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, get
It's
into
a
that.
good. So I did see that. I saw that on Reddit that there's a lot of golfers who are quite honestly just fed up with the price of new clubs.
Yeah,
Like
for real, for
Titleist
real.
is Titleist is talking about releasing another wedge. I mean, dude, it's going to be like $200 a wedge. I mean, that's insane. You get
Hmm.
three you get three wedges. You're looking at almost $700 after taxes.
It's stupid.
And
That's insane.
and one guy specifically was talking about the TaylorMade QI10,
Uh-huh.
right? I think that's what that new driver is right now. But
Oh
he's
yeah,
like he's like this is a great driver, but it's basically the Stealth,
yeah. Of
just with a new
course.
paint job.
Yep.
And I paid $150 more than what I paid for the Stealth, and because I have a custom shaft, and it was another $300. Right? It's like my driver was $1,000. Now you're telling me that the next one that's going to come out is going to be $1,000. Like he was like, help me make sense of that. Like,
Hmm.
what is this one doing that's going to raise the price almost $200 more? To basically hit the same thing that you already had made, but you just changed the paint scheme.
Exactly. I've definitely seen that, and I know I was looking into potentially getting the new, not TSR. What's the new one called?
The GT
The
twos or
GTs. That's right, the
yeah.
GTs, right? And I ended up hitting the GT, but I looked at like the more forgiving one. So it was like the TSR 3, it was the TSR 2, but the GT. I forget which one it was, but it was like that same like one basically. And I hit it, dude, and I was like, this thing like sucks. Like this thing is like exactly the same. Like if anything, there's no difference at all. And I hit it on the range, and I come back out to Brandon, who I borrowed it from, because like, hey, let me get a head, let me get the driver head. I'll use my same shaft. You know, they all plug in together pretty well. And he's like, "What'd you think?" I was like, I didn't get any confidence over it. I just didn't feel like that was better or anything. It's like, yeah,
Hmm.
that's exactly what I heard. Like I've tried fitting people into that, and they just go back to the TSR. They're just like, what's the point in paying this extra price for the time being if you know, and the Titleist is really good at, you know, the 2-year cycle instead of like 6 months or 9 months or whatever the other companies are, like Callaway and
Tailor
TaylorMade
made.
mainly, you know, like they're great products, don't get me wrong, but if you're not a pro and you're not getting paid to play them or getting them for free or getting an extremely discounted price, like there's or you're just really rich, you know, it's just there's not much of a value to constantly getting the newest stuff because it's so minimal of
Yeah.
a better product. And of course, if you maybe play so much and you notice it, but I mean, even then, it's just like, is it really worth that?
Yeah.
So I agree. I
No.
mean, it's rising like crazy. The prices are so stupid. It's ridiculous. And that's not even like
Well,
with a premium shaft for some of these ones, you know?
well, here's the thing: is like, I mean, I've told you this 1,000 times. The reason why I still play Callaway is because I still have like my Callaway, VIP account, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
I get stuff at whole cost, right? Instead of paying the retail cost.
Yep.
But it's like now it kind of defeats the whole purpose because sure, I'm saving money on the head that I choose, but then
Hmm.
with the shaft, they upcharge it even more to where even like the Ventus Black now is, $275 um on the website. And it's like before you used to get you would be able to get any premium shaft that you wanted, you know, for no cost because it's like, hey, you're an employee, right? Or
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
or you're one of our brand ambassadors. We want you to rock our stuff, right? And we want to make sure that it's tailored to you. But now I'm just like, man, dude, like, I mean, I there's nothing wrong with my Rogue. Like the Rogue,
Yeah.
and then the Paradigm, and now the AI Smoke. There's literally, I'm not seeing any difference between either one of them. I mean, I went into Golf Mart, hit them both. I'm seeing no difference.
That's crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's just like when it's so close like that. What like imagine being trying to sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think selling is probably easier because you gotta think like the average golfer just sometimes it's just something that just makes like they just feel more confident with it, right? Oh
Mhm.
wow, the numbers look great. But I think to a player it's a little bit different. Like you want to feel that difference of where like the ball's really really jumping off the face. You want to see that tighter dispersion. You want to see more workability out of it, right? I mean, I think for me it was just like if I'm gonna do it, I want something that's still gonna it's gonna produce low spin for me, gonna roll out more. But no, dude, I hit all 10 shots. My average carry on all three drivers was 315 yards. Rollout was all about another 15. I had a couple with the AI smoke that were like at 25, but it was because I hit them a little bit on the toe side, which just
Yeah.
reduced my spin significantly. But
Hmm.
still, overall carry, shot dispersion, shot workability, I hit 5 draws, 5 cuts, all the same. It was like the circle. I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but the circle of the dispersion was like I was missing 10 yards off of the center line on both sides. It's pretty
Dang.
freaking good.
I mean, I remember like was it like last week or the episode before when we were talking about prices for drinks, you know, at sporting events and how like overpriced
Yeah.
it is, and there's one of them that like prices them lower than a lot of other places, and it's probably a smarter business move in the sense that people will buy more, right? You're gonna have more people interested in buying it because obviously it's cheaper, they're going to buy more. And especially when you're drunk, you're going to buy more as well because you're just not making the best decisions. But when you already have like a company like Callaway, like TaylorMade, like Titleist, like any of the top brands out there, like Ping, you know, like you don't need it, you don't need to raise your prices. Like even if you're making like a dollar or two more, like per shaft or whatever it is to increase the price. Lowering the prices could only mean that people are probably going to buy more, in my opinion, right? Like you would think
Hmm.
that people would be like, "Oh, like this is a great brand and it's cheaper and it's like proven over like 50 years, 60 years, however long these companies have been around, and it's not going to hurt. It's only going to help you, especially when they get more quality for it." I mean, Kirkland's trying to basically take everything with
Oh
all this
yeah.
stuff. And honestly, I would love to get a set and just try them out. But I don't know if I'll ever be there where I can just get a set just to mess around with. But I mean, if they can corner the market like that, that'd be huge because there's so many people out there that like golf is already expensive enough. Like for golf, it's the most probably expensive sport out there because you have to have golf clubs. You have to have an outfit, obviously, right? Like obviously, like, if you're playing at a regular golf course, right? You don't want to like stand out. You don't want to play in jeans, but you have to have that. You have to have shoes. You have to have golf balls. You have to pay for the round. You have to pay for the golf cart now. There's a payment at like every single step, and then it's like a 4 to 6 hour round, and you have to probably have something to eat during that time, unless you bring something, right? Like
Yeah.
there's all these like ways to nickel and dime you in golf compared to like soccer. Why is it like the most popular sport in the world? Well, because the majority of the world is in poverty, and all you need to play soccer is a ball. You can play
Yeah.
anywhere. So that's or not even a ball, just something that resembles a ball that can move around. Doesn't have to be a soccer ball, and anyone can play it. But with golf, it's so difficult to already play and get out on the course. Plus, you have to be able to take off 6 hours and not have to worry about any responsibilities, on
Hmm.
top of that, and have the time off for that. And it's such an expensive sport where it's like, man, like work with us a little bit here. Like COVID really helped bring a ton of people to golf, but we're still raising our prices like this. I know things go up, prices have gone up, but you never know. Hopefully, hoping fingers crossed with this whole, Trump administration that if he brings tariffs back, that they bring more jobs to the United States, and that hopefully reduces things and cost prices because they're made here instead of being made somewhere else. But I don't know. We'll see.
I think the biggest thing that we tend to overlook, right, with golf is the parts, right? A lot of carbon fiber, most
Hmm.
expensive material.
Yep.
Um, the multi, I guess the multi solution face, right? The weight distribution. I mean, you're talking about what is it, a 440 cc head
Hmm.
that goes through the same aerodynamic testing of an airplane,
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
put
Hmm.
that into perspective. I mean, it's a lot of expensive pieces that go into one thing to take one shot,
Yep.
right? 18 times, or let's just say
Maybe 14.
14 times,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
14
Yeah.
times. So I understand you from that perspective, but it's also just kind of like, again, we talked about this a long time ago, but it's like every year they come out saying, yeah, 5 more yards. Like, okay,
Yep.
well, if that's the case,
Yeah.
why is the PGA making that such a big deal when you have
Hmm.
guys like Bryson who are coming in who are really actually, redefining
Hmm.
that, or actually bringing light to that, right? Hey, I got the new Cobra driver. It definitely has added 15 more yards to my game. I'm using a long driver head that
Hmm.
is 440 cc's, which is still PGA regulation at a 4-degree driver, but it's playing at a 47-inch driver compared to a 46, right? Which
Hmm.
is still in PGA regulation.
Right.
So it's just kind of like you're optimizing the rules, to favor you, but it's like if you got a guy like that who's willing to who literally knows it better than you do as a
Hmm.
as a someone who runs the whole operation,
Yeah.
you can't penalize the dude for knowing that, right?
Hmm. Mm.
It just goes back to what we said, right? Like if Augusta has to go and make alterations to the course to basically make it a little bit more difficult for PGA players for one tournament out of the year, the biggest tournament of the year,
Hmm.
right? If other courses aren't willing to do that to keep their slot on the PGA, I think the PGA needs to come out and say, well, don't complain if
Hmm.
it's if guys are driving greens and they're making the game look easy.
Hmm.
Like make an adjustment or we'll just replace you. You
100%.
have the upper hand.
There's
Like
so many golf courses out
you're
there.
bringing the business to them.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Mhm. Exactly.
So
No, I agree. I agree. I feel like they're like, especially when it comes to, like, the cost of things, like, they're missing so many people because of how expensive things are. Just the
yep.
club, not even just, like, playing golf, which is another topic of things just constantly going up, but, like, golf is a fun sport. It's a very social sport that you go around, hang out with friends, drink if you want to, don't if you don't want to. But it's very sociable. It's enjoyable. It's obviously frustrating also, but like it's addicting as well. Like it's a very addictable sport. But it's easier to break that addiction if you're like, well, I can't freaking afford this thing, you know. If it's just
Hmm.
way out of price and you're just like, I just can't even make that work. It's just not even worth it. But, like,
Hmm.
you drop the price by, like, 5 to 10%, and that does enough to bring people back in. Because I remember what was it? A decade ago when I was working in the golf industry, and the drivers were, like, $500 back then, I think?
No, no,
No, it
uh,
was, it was.
no, because I remember that specifically because that was when you and I both had reconnected, and the
It was the Callaway Big Bertha
the
Alpha.
Callaway, yeah, the Callaway Big Bertha
Was it
Alpha
300? Was it 300?
Alpha Double Diamond came out, and that was a that was a $500 driver at that time, and then
It might
that
have
was
been
where then
450. Might have been 450, 400, 400,
450, but
450.
it was close to 500. But then
Yeah,
all of a sudden, right, it was like you had or one company at the time who was able to charge that just because you knew the quality, which was Titleist, right?
you're right.
Here comes Callaway with this that's outperforming everyone, and that to me, I remember that specifically because then all of a sudden everyone started altering their drivers with weight distribution, right? The slider came
Mm,
out, the slider, the mini driver, the very first version of the mini driver, the new that Titleist, what was it? It was a Titleist.
915, one of those or
Not
no?
yeah, the 915 where you had like the literal weight piece that you could slide it out and basically change the whole
Mhm.
entire head weight and
Yeah.
swing weight with it and basically put the weight in a different angle so that way it just made it draw all the time no matter where you
Yeah,
hit it.
right, right, the draw bias,
Um
so yeah, yeah,
yeah,
100%.
it was crazy. I remember that um I remember that like it was yesterday because I remember you and I had played. I had that double diamond Big Bertha, and you're like, dude, that thing's sick. Where'd you get that? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm staffed up with them. And you're like, what? They gave you this? And I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, look at this shaft, 80 gram Ahina shaft, like Diamana Ahina shaft. And you're like, what does that mean? I'm like, it's a tour shaft, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I remember that. Yeah,
man, but, like, you're missing so many like, because I would assume, like, they're probably catering to about, like, 20 to 30% of, like, the market of, like, eligible people that can play golf. You just lower the prices a bit, and I'm not saying, like, a ton. You could easily reach 50 to 60% of people who
yeah,
aren't even interested in golf, who just go out once and they're like, "You know what? Like, that was actually fun. Hey, I had a good time." And that's all you need to do. That's
yeah.
it. But that's golf, baby. I don't know. Such an elitist sport. Freaking sucks.
I
But
know, man. I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine who hadn't seen in like 2 years. But he became a member at he became a member at a Fountain Grove.
mm,
And I was asking, I was like, hey, what was the initiation for that? And he was like, oh, 30,000. I was like, 30,000? I was like, wasn't it just like 100,000 not too long ago? He goes, there was at one point like where golf was like super busy. Yeah, it was up there, you know.
they dropped it?
Um, Yeah, they dropped it because
Wow.
it,
They
I
weren't
think
doing
they
that
I
well, huh?
think they had a lot of people leaving, so they're
Oh,
just
dang.
kind of incentivizing them to come. But I was like, whoa, I was like, seems really cheap. He's like, I thought it was the opposite, and I was like, what are your monthly dues? He's like 1,500. I was like, I was like, okay, like
Holy crap.
yeah, I'm like
1,500?
yeah. So it's like for food and beverage, maintenance, and then like a locker fee to keep your
Okay,
clubs and
okay,
stuff.
okay.
It's like all inclusive, but I'm like, how much food do you have to eat? Like, it's a lot, you know. But he's like,
Mhm.
oh, well, it comes with like guest passes and stuff. I'm like, are they actually guest passes? Because if you're paying that, it's pretty much like I was like, what's the round to play there? Like 150? He goes, yeah. I'm like, you're definitely paying for like an entire like two, two tea times, four people that are all guests.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it's just crazy, but it definitely is. It definitely is an elitist, and I think the elitists are trying to keep it that way. But it's just like there's just too many golfers now where it's just, if anything, put more emphasis on getting the word out of how to properly fix a divot, understand pace of play, understand, etiquette, like
Yep. Yep.
those things. And I mean, I'm not the most etiquette player, but at least I'm aware of my surroundings where I'm like, ooh, I really like this song, but I'm gonna lower it down a little bit.
Right. 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 100%. I mean, like it's like I played with people. I don't know. It wasn't with you. I was at where was I? I was at Riverside like a few years ago, and I was playing with my buddy Eddie, I believe, who was going to get us on to what's that place in uh, Monterey that we're going to go to.
Oh, Diamante
No, no, he works at Del Monte, but
or
it's
Del
the other
Monte.
one. The one that was on the tour, not the Pebble, but the other one. Um, where like they flip. It's like not Monterey. It's there. They have 3 courses for that program, right?
Spyglass.
Spyglass. It was Spyglass. It
Okay.
was Spyglass that we were gonna get on. But we were playing, and you could tell this kid just garbage. Nice kid, but just garbage. Like just not good at all. Hits his ball like 90 degrees opposite of where he's like if he's going straight, he hits it right. Like it's just not going well. But he had amazing etiquette, which sucked because he was so bad in the sense that he would wait till his ball was the farthest to go. And it's like, dude, you're always gonna be the farthest. And like it's simple etiquette where it's like, yeah, that's etiquette, but read the room. Like ready golf is what we
Yeah.
play. Like you don't just like, oh, I'm gonna wait and be nice. Like, dude, you're gonna take 5 shots to get 50 yards. Just take your shots and hit them. I don't want to watch you the whole time. And I'm sure you don't want me to watch you the whole time. And
Yeah.
it's simple things like that where it's like, yeah, if we're playing on a tour, yeah, that's how you do it. But we're not. As long as I don't die, you don't hit me with the ball, and we get in
Well,
out
your
of
head
time with
out
the
of
time.
your ass.
I can't do this. Get me out of here. But like the whole time I was like, dude, just go. Like, don't wait for me. Please. Just go, man. Just go. But
That's funny.
ugh, frustrating. But
Yeah,
yeah.
man. No, I get it. I get it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times like a trendy video has happened at Foxtail with a fight. Someone stole a flag and was because someone hit into them. Like
No way.
police were chasing somebody for basically trying to steal somebody's bag during a round and trying to drive off, and they had like a whole police chase on the south course to get that person.
No way.
Swear to God. And then one video, um, it wasn't like super well known, but it did get attention from Zaire Golf, where somebody wore football cleats on a morning tee time on the
No.
course, and it's like punched holes, and I'm like, oh, I know that hole. I was like, that's number 6 or number 5 at Foxtail. I'm like, oh fuck, like that's fucked up. So yeah,
Clint wearing freaking cleats again. I know it's him. I know him. You got to
yeah,
be freaking kidding me. Oh my gosh. Those things are bad, dude. That's terrible.
yeah, dude. The worst, honestly, the ones that just make like they just make my skin twitch is the ones where people are out playing, they miss a putt and just start slamming their putter into the putting green, and I'm like, oh my god, dude! Like the group behind you is gonna be like, what the hell just happened? You see the guy with his divot tool trying to fix it.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have done that one time, and I will
No,
say, I'm not saying like within like a few years, but like when I was like a kid, just being stupid. But like,
no,
but like, it is so. What's the like ASMR? What do they call that? Like when it's just like so like soothing, like what
no.
like
I don't
not
think so.
soothing, but you know what I mean? Where it's just like, what's that term? When like like you plug in like your USB like correctly the first time. Like instead of like putting it in like the wrong way.
Satisfying?
It's satisfying. It's so satisfying. Or like you do because it's so soft and it just goes. It like, dude,
Dude,
I'm telling you, once you do it, it's
dude,
gonna be.
I dropped my putter on like the third hole, like just kind of doing flips with it, right, and catching it by
Mhm.
the grip, and I completely missed it, and I just watched the butt end of the putter just slam into the green. And I was like, no. And I'm like sitting there like with my divot tool trying to fix it. I was like, I can't believe I just did that. And my buddy Corey's like, it's not like you took a hack at it or something. I was like, I know, but it looks just as bad. He goes, no, dude. He's like, look
Remember?
at all these footprints over here. He's like, someone over here freaking has Frankenstein's feet walking around. He's like, dude, this is gonna mess up our putt coming up the hill. And I was like, all right, you got a point there.
Dude, you did something similar though at Dragonfly. I remember when you were chipping and you chucked your wedge into the.
Yeah,
It was like
check the
that. I'm
wedge.
sure that was satisfying when like you heard it and it just like went. And you're like, even though I missed that
The,
chip, not gonna lie, it felt good.
the sound of it coming out was even better.
Yep. All right. Well,
But good spot to finish it up there. Hope everyone is having a great week and has a great weekend. Don't forget, again, guys, there's a lot of cool stuff on Sunday Swag where you can get yourself, what is it, 25% off right now?
no, 15% off, but
15,
they do
15%
have
off.
they do got Santa Claus and
Yeah.
Christmas polos out
They got
already.
some good Christmas polos out there. They got a couple ugly sweaters that are going to be dropping. So get over there, use your Four Dads coupon to get yourself something nice. Also, another huge supporter of us is Patty O'Shea with Upside
Mm-hmm.
Golf. Get over there and guys, again, he has a bunch of awesome stuff out there, and every year he's coming out with better things. So go over there, show him some support. And also, if you're looking for some nice joggers for the course, looking for some good shorts, we're still sponsored with Primo. Go over there and
Yep.
check it out. But other than that, guys, don't forget to stay fly and go low, and have yourselves a good rest of the week.
Take
We'll
care,
catch you.
everybody.